question in why do you call libertarians propertarians? Libertarianism is about freedom. And then there are some curse words. Quite a few long rows of curse words. A Greek curse word. That's impressive. And then the person talks about how left libertarianism is self-defeating. He doesn't quite explain how he gets there, so I'm not going to comment on that. But to the question, to the comprehensible part of the question about why I call libertarians propertarians, I don't think I call every self-identified libertarian that I know propertarian. It's true that I have described some people who view themselves as libertarian, that I have described them as propertarian. And I can explain to you why. I think it's important to break down why. The reason behind this for me has been trying to put emphasis, some focus, on the fact that I don't think the essential core, defining, you could say, value when it comes to the specific political system these people seem to endorse. I don't think that this value that separates this system, this political system, from other political systems is ultimately about freedom. I don't think it's about freedom, at least in the way people seem to think it is, in these cases. And I don't think it's about freedom, even if we grant a purely negative view of such a thing, a Hayekian view of such a thing. Freedom as a lack of intervention, lack of interference, freedom from. Even if we accept that this is a proper view of what freedom is, and a proper view of what morally significant freedom is, even then I think that at the heart of this political system is not freedom. And I will bring up a short but simple example to illustrate why I'm saying this. First off, these people, they do say that they want all your freedoms all the time. They are for all your freedoms all of the time, which is like the American Libertarian Party's slogan on Instagram. They do post that quite a bit, which is probably part of why people come to actually believe that the system they support is about all your freedoms all the time. The marketing seems to have such an effect. But anyway, let's take a hypothetical to illustrate this problem that I'm seeing. Let's say Elon Musk moves to Finland, okay? He uses the surplus labor he has, builds a massive castle, okay? And I'm here, a poor boy from a poor family. Nobody loves me, nobody wants me. And I'm really hungry, let's say. I'm a 10-year-old, well, not a 10-year-old, I'm an 18-year-old, let's say. And I'm really hungry. I have no money, nobody will hire me. So one day I decide to enter this Elon Musk castle. Well, not the castle. Let's say one day I decide to breach the security systems, enter the garden, Elon Musk's giant garden, and see if there's anything there I can eat. Elon Musk has built this giant electric fence. He has this river with robotic crocodiles eating all the peasants trying to get in to eat food. Let's say I manage to walk over the dead bodies of the peasants, cross that river, then I dig a hole and crawl under the electric fence. And I finally, in this garden, find a tree. A tree. Not an apple tree, not an orange tree. Let's say it's a Greek tree. It's a tree that gives birth to pitageiros. Pitageiros foods, packages. If that only existed, it would be banned immediately, unless some big corporation can make money from it. Let's say there's this pitageiros tree, okay? And I find it, and I'm so excited. I grab a pitageiros from the tree. I eat it. I eat 2/3 of it, and it tastes like heaven. Now, Elon Musk is in his room up in the castle.
La la, oh, king in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair. Oh, go do this, king in the castle.
I don't do anything to him. I don't push him around or anything. I just get the pitageiros. And Elon Musk is just in his room doing important capitalist work, such as bitching about trans people on Twitter or something of that sort. But eventually, the security system spots me, alerts the Lord of the Land, Elon Musk, And Elon Musk presses the button, the privilege button that gets him access to police before everybody else. And then police shows up and they stop me. They take 1/3 of the pita gyros, whatever was left, and they give it back to Elon Musk. They shoot me, they tase me, they torture me for 2 years, whatever. I have an eventual court appearance. I lose because how do you win in this case? Anyway, the details matter not. What is the important aspect of this scenario? How is this relevant to what I'm trying to say? This scenario is relevant in the sense that the people I'm talking about, the people I refer to as propertarians, would absolutely support Elon Musk's moral entitlement to every part of that tree. Considering they support, Musk's ability to just call up the police against me. What does the police really do in this scenario? I think a reasonable interpretation is that the police essentially negates negative freedom. The police omits me from exercising the negative freedom of entering the garden and eating one, two, maybe three, well, maybe eating the whole tree in my case. The police, opa, my voice, I have to sound serious and professional. The police essentially negates my negative freedom. They intervene in my life, okay? And the relevant propertarians in this scenario don't see a problem with that. How come? They are for all the freedom, all of the time. Isn't it a little weird that suddenly there's no problem here? And it seems to me that the reason there's no problem is that their political ideology, the political ideology of the relevant people I'm talking about, ultimately comes down to their specific view of moral entitlement, and in this radical propertarian case, absolute property rights. Property rights uber alles, which, by the way, the hypothetical I pose here is not to make an argument against absolute property rights or some other kind of property rights. My hypothetical here is just to put some attention, some critical attention on this idea that such a libertarianism is really about all of your freedoms all of the time. Even when it comes to negative conceptions of freedom, this does not seem to be quite the case. You do restrict freedoms, and what's at the core of your philosophy, so to say, is a moral entitlement theory that leads you to absolute property rights, which is how determinations seem to be made about which negative freedoms, which pragmatic manifestations of negative freedoms to respect and which not to.